Hello fish fools, Jeff here. So this is the Blue Moon Platy that I got recently, almost 2 weeks ago, and trying to get a good look at her. She has a couple white spots on her. You can see that towards the on her tail, like one at the base of the tail and one at the end of the tail. Looks like little ick spots, and I first noticed it Saturday night, and she actually had like another spot up towards her head, which is now not there. But then when I look throughout the tank at all the other fish in here, none of them have any white spots. Like, that might be ick. I would think that if this one started showing signs of ick, that others would too, if it is indeed ick. So it makes me kind of think it might not be, but I'm not sure. So, it was, like I said, almost 2 weeks ago when I got this fish, and maybe over 10 days later until I showed any white spots, and no other fish in here have. So, and I already did use do a Ich-X treatment, because this is serving as a quarantine tank, even though there's lots of fish in here. These guppies have just had a bunch of babies, but they're gonna stay in here whenever I get new fish, and I'll treat with medications, quarantine medications. And it was Thursday I think it was Thursday I put Ich-X in this tank, and then a few days later saw those first white spots. So I may, for preventative purposes, when I get new fish, before moving them to any other tanks, I'll use Ich-X and erythromycin and general cure, all one dosage. One dosage as long as no other symptoms are shown and they look okay. So in this case, I think I might have to do another dosage just to make sure. But I did have ick one other time ever, so I have had experience with it in my 30-gallon planted live bear community tank. And one difference there was that tank has a heater. This tank does not. I do keep my apartment currently at 73 degrees, because I have several tanks that don't have heaters. I personally like it warm anyway, so it's kind of an excuse for me to keep it warm for myself. But if you're treating for ick, it's good to crank the heat in the tank. So it may, if this does turn out to be ick and it spreads, it might take longer to get rid of it. So here's Ich-X right here. Aquarium Solutions Ich-X. So add 1 tablespoon of Ich-X to 10 gallons. For best results, treat in a separate quarantine tank, remove activated carbon. Make at least a third water change before each addition of Ich-X. And repeat treatments at least every 24 hours, but no more than every 8 hours, depending on the course of the disease. So if I remember, when I had it in my 30-gallon tank, I did 4 treatments 4 days in a row. So I put in a treatment, did a third water change, did another treatment 4 days in a row like that. So I did add Ich-X to this tank on Thursday, then I just did a water change today, about 45% in this tank. And it was actually like that. This one had a white spot on the tip of its head before doing that water change, the last time I noticed, but then after I looked at her, it was, you know, 1 less spot. From what I can see is 2 spots on her now. But I will do another Ich-X treatment, and then I'll look back, you know, 24 hours later to see how that is, and I'll look at all the other fish. But you know, when I did do it in my 30-gallon tank, like all my live bearers, you know, got to a point where they were all covered with ick, and after 4 days of treatments and the temperature cranked up to like 84 degrees or something like that, if I remember, that's when it, after 4 treatments, that was when I stopped and didn't see any more spots on any other fish. But we'll see what happens here. So that's the one platy in this tank. I have wild guppies. There's the crooked spine female. These are sold as feeder guppies, but I think they're cool looking. I'm not using them for feeder guppies. I'm just keeping them because I want to keep a colony of them because I think they're cool. The males, less fancy than fancy guppies, but they are still cool looking, I think. Seeing their colors develop. And I have pea puffers in this tank. And they could be the reason why that blue platy may have, who otherwise seemed healthy, now might have ick. Because even with those two ick, what might be ick spots, even like you can kind of see the top and bottom edges of the tail fin might have some nips. Because these, I haven't seen them go after the platy, but I have noticed these pea puffers have been kind of nippy. I mean, I haven't actually seen them do any nipping, but I have seen them sort of charge at other fish and charge at each other. Just kind of like dart at each other. Not continue chasing them, but that could have caused stress, and fish can be more susceptible to ick when they're stressed. But otherwise, this platy, when I got her, was looked really healthy looking. She still looks healthy, except for those white spots and maybe a little bit of frayed parts of the tail fin. And so that I did get that platy from Petco, But, you know, I would think if you bring a fish home that, you know, might have ick, that it would show ick symptoms sooner than she has, if it was, you know, if she was like sick already. I don't know. So yeah, these pea puffers, by the way, I was just going to feed them some bloodworms. Where are they? There's a couple over here. One staring the other down. Let's see if they're going to do anything. These are really cool. I like how they move their eyes and look around. Well, there's another one coming to say hi. One thing so far has been disappointing is that, you know, I heard that they eat Hikari Vibra Bites because they're finicky and they only eat, you know, ordinarily only eat frozen or live foods. And then these Hikari Vibra Bites they would eat. And I've fed it to this tank and I have not seen them eat it yet. It could be that they're not hungry enough to eat it. And that, you know, maybe they would eat it if they were hungrier, but there are snails in here. I've seen them go after some snails, and there's, you know, all this guppy fry. I've seen a couple guppy fry carcasses that they were, you know, kind of chomping on. So I'm figuring they must have killed them and started chomping them. So maybe without those other options that they might eat the Hikari Vibra Bite. So I still figure that, you know, I don't intend to keep them in here forever. When I do move them when they have less food options, that they may eat the Vibra Bites. You know, I've fed them bloodworms a couple times and they would eat those, and it's kind of funny. Like the little guppy fry will take a frozen bloodworm and swim off with it, and then the puffers will chase them. So it's actually, let's see if I can get them to do that. So I have some frozen bloodworms right here. So while we're up here, let's look at some. You can see some guppy fry swimming around in this water sprite. I'm going to dump this over here. Alright. Kind of fell into that hornwort right there. Let's see if we can. Pea puffers. Well, notice that it's there. Right now they are oblivious. she's kind of still. And of course she just turned around. But if that is ick, the very early stages of it, because once it gets worse, it can get worse. Like it'd be like covered in it when it spreads. But unless you're looking closely, you might not even be able to notice any white specks. But it's one. See that white dot on the tail there? Pea puffers, not interested or not aware. Well, I think at some point later I'll show a feeding of them, because I should have used this tool and put some down in front of them to try to feed them more directly. Right now I don't think they're aware of that there's any in here. The guppies are eating it. But yeah, we'll see if there's any kind of like ick spreading or not. It might not be much of anything, but I was concerned because it would take longer. As I mentioned, I don't have a heater in here, so it's easier to get rid of ick with higher heat. And I actually just received another fish supply order from Doctors Foster and Smith. I ordered a bunch of opani wood and other stuff, and I was gonna actually have a box with that. I'm gonna do an unboxing video. But I was even thinking of getting a heater too, just in case. But then I never ended up pulling the trigger on that. Now I think I should probably get a heater just in case. But for now, I guess I'm gonna try Ich-X with no heat and see if that helps. Still, again, it might not be that big a deal. It might just be nothing because it's hardly even noticeable. Okay, here comes a pea puffer. You want to get involved in some of this action? Okay, there he goes. He's spotted the guppy with a bloodworm in its mouth. Thought he was going to chase after it, but I guess not. Okay. Now some of it got loose from the hornwort there. Alright, you got one. I like how they slurp them up like it's a noodle. Check out my balls. These Marimo moss balls. All right. Well, I guess that's it for now. And remember, I'm Jeff, and I enjoy fishies. Thanks for watching.